Welcome and thank you for joining us for this episode where we're going to be talking a little bit more about some sandboxing tools. So when we talk about sandboxing, I know the visual you're getting. You're back on the playground and you're having a great time. That's not what we're here to talk about. Sandboxes are like, if I understand correctly, you've got something and you're not sure if it's malicious or not, or if it's bad or not, and you don't want to just open it in your regular work environment. So instead, you have what's called a sandbox, which is what, like a virtual machine that exists.
This is all wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. No. Yes. So your analogy,
spirit.
Your analogy of being back on the playground, right? The sandbox was a safe place that you could go and you could run things. Oh, I can have trucks or army men fighting, or whatever you wanted to do. It was this little world that you could build and work with, and make anything happen, right? It was just a veritable land of imagination, right? Willy Wonka would love it, right? So the idea behind a sandbox, that what we use is a safe place that we can, like you say, run what we may think might be malicious. Is this malicious? I don't know. Or if it is, if we do know that it is, maybe we want to see what it does. But wouldn't that mean running it? Yes, that would mean you would need to run it to really know what it does. Yeah, of course you can do some like static analysis of it. Give me some file hashing. Maybe we can run it through something like IDA Pro or Ghidra and try to do some reverse engineering of the actual code that underlies that, and to get a better sense of what's going on. You could do that as well, but we also like to couple that along with dynamic analysis. What happens when this thing actually does its thing? Only one way to find out. Spin it up. Now, if you spun that up on a computer and your environment, that's probably going to end badly, because what if it does things like, I don't know, denial of service attacks some other organization? Now you are complicit in that denial of service attack. You ran something that you were pretty sure was malicious, and when it ran, it attacked another organization. Yeah, that's not going to fly. You can't go, Judge, here's the thing, you're going to laugh. We saw the file, we thought, I'm pretty sure it's a denial of service attack, but only really one way to figure this out. And that's true. And then we ran it, and then, that's when the service went offline because the denial. You can't, I'm sorry, right? That's going to be that scenario. You don't want to be a part of that. So we built sandboxes. Now, there's a couple ways in which you could do sandboxing. There are sandbox services that you can utilize, or you can build your own sandbox and make it happen that way. Up to you which one you want to do. Maybe there are pros and cons for going with both, but you have those options on the table.
Because by building your own sandbox, you can customize it to exactly what you need, I guess. You know exactly what it is that you're looking for. But I would imagine those services you talked about probably are a little more convenient, and maybe they're kind of one size fits all, where like probably anybody could use them and get use out of them. So we have a couple we're going to talk about, right?
We do.
And the first one is Joe Sandbox.
Joe Sandbox. It's a great name, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It truly is.
Like, it just rolls right off the tongue. Hey, go into Joe Sandbox.
Yeah. It sounds like we're having a conversation talking about somebody I don't want to name. And I'm like, Joe Sandbox over there.
Yeah. Old Joe Sandbox. If you need to analyze some malware, I guess you go to Joe Sandbox.
Go talk to that Joe Sandbox guy.
That's right. But yeah, Joe Sandbox, great tool. I've used it myself. So if you've got a malicious file, you want to kind of check that out. Let's just kind of look at at Joe Sandbox. I don't have any malicious files that I'm going to try to throw at it, but we can at least kind of peruse the interface, get a sense of what happens and where it occurs and what you can expect from it. So let's start off with the top here. It says choose your analysis architecture. So obviously it is supporting all the major vendors out there. So we have Windows, we got Mac OS, we got Android, Linux, and then we have Advanced for probably some different stuff. But these are the big dogs on the market that you're going to want to go after. And then we define the sample source and choose the analysis system. So you can drag and drop a file in here, or just hit the choose file button, and that is going to be your sample. This is going to be the malware that you are either suspect to be bad, to be malware, or that is malware and you just kind of want to see what it does. Or you can go to a URL and browse from there, okay? There's a few other options, but ultimately I just want to download and execute the file and run it through the command line, okay? Now, going back over here, we also have an analysis system. This is where you can kind of get a little more granular when it comes to, well, what system do I want to run? Yeah, I've defined it. I want it to run on Windows. Is that Windows 7? Is that Windows 10? Windows 11? Is it x86? Is it 64? What architecture are we working with? That kind of stuff. So we can see that there are a few pieces of information here that we can roll with. The default is going to be a Windows 10 64-bit version, which is 1803, which is a little bit of an older version, but we want to make sure this thing runs. So the idea is to analyze what it does, not stop it, right? Also has Office Professional Plus 2016, was running Chrome 104, IE 11, Adobe Reader DC 19, Java 8 Update 211. Excellent. So now we understand it. But if you hit this drop-down list, you can see other systems, right? Windows 7 x64, Windows 7 32-bit. We also have HPI hypervisor-based inspections. So we see there's another Windows system, but it's meant to be more hypervisory, right? VM Office config, so if we needed to change that a little bit, we could. You'll notice that these say only for Cloud Pro, so there is free, and then there is, hey, we got to make some money. We want to keep the lights on, right? We want to keep providing you a great service. So we like to hook you with the free stuff, and then when you're used to us, here's a lovely account executive to help you fill out that credit card and get that going. So you can pick that stuff, great stuff there, so kind of make it the way you like it to go. Then you can use live interaction. So if you actually want to get a pop-up window where you're able to move the mouse, double-click things, and all sorts of stuff, you can hit that, use live interaction, and you will get that full interactive environment in which you can not only get the major, hey, what does this thing do, but you can kind of work with it, massage it, see what it does, see what you can make it do, right? Any settings or comments you need to throw in there, and then execution runtime. What do you want to set that to? You go crazy. There are advanced settings as well. You will have to agree to their terms and conditions. Not uncommon, right? Then you fire off and you go. It analyzes. It comes back with your results and says, hey, here's the IPs it reached out to. Here's what it did. It hooked the browser in some way. It did X, it did Y, it did Z. It's a Trojan. Here's what it was doing. Cool. That's Joe Sandbox, and it's really nice for us that when we have these malware things, or we have a file that we suspect to be malware from time to time, we're like, you know what? Let's run this through the ringer for a minute. Joe Sandbox is really great for this because A, it's a cloud service. I didn't have to set up anything. I just have my sample, I drop it in, I let it do its thing, and I look at the results. It's really nice. So for those one-off instances where you need to run a file in a sandbox, Joe Sandbox is really good for that.
Now, alternatively, because that is definitely a good option, but alternatively, we have Cuckoo Sandbox, which is, when the sandbox loses its mind, it has to be carted off to the bin.
One flew over the cuckoo sandbox.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes, you get it.
I do.
So this is an alternative, if you, as opposed to Joe Sandbox or any
alternative
other sandbox tool. Yeah. What was I forget the word I was saying the other day in the other episode. Something, I kept mispronouncing it.
I don't
remember. I do it all the time, so it's hard for me to remember. But
now we just mispronounce them purposefully.
Intentionally, yeah. Sandbox. Yes, Cuckoo. I did bring up Cuckoo's website.
So this is that more, hey, let's go on-prem. Like maybe you're doing malware analysis as like, that's your job. That's what you do. Cuckoo Sandbox could be just the thing you're looking for. It's open source. It's free. You can utilize it to the extent of it. There are other sandboxing systems that are not free that you can still do on-prem stuff with. But Cuckoo Sandbox is great for you and I because it doesn't cost us anything. And you can stand this up in like a virtual environment, or if you got a spare system laying around, now you've got a full-on sandbox to analyze malware. Very cool stuff. So you get in here, you grab it, download it. I did not download it. It is, I will just warn you out of the gate, and really this is kind of calling it a show almost. It's a bit complex, as to be expected. You're working with a lot of stuff where it's working with your hypervisor. You need to have the right hypervisor, all the dependencies that are necessary to get this thing working. But once you have it does have great documentation though. So put aside a weekend to go, I'm going to build Cuckoo Sandbox. Probably going to have to work through an error or two, a dependency problem or two, but that's fine. Once you find yourself at the other end of it though, you got a really great tool for, like, you can just go to Malware Zoo, grab malware, throw it in, see what it does. You can actually look at malware, and you got to worry about your systems, your real systems that you care about, that you put love and attention to getting compromised in some way. And now you have to go through that cleanup and that whole mess. So it's nice to have this as an option for us out there. So get out there and play with that. There you go. There's the a blog post kind of talking about it. Like I said, that documentation at the top is going to be one of your best ways of learning. How do we do this? Yes, I know. No, go to advanced. I want it. I don't care. Make it happen. Booyah. Cuckoo Sandbox. For whatever reason, they named it .sh, so it's like, what is this? It was an odd thing, but there it is. And it gives you everything you need to know about getting this thing stood up and how you work with it. So read those docs, play with Cuckoo, play with Joe, grab some malware from the malware zoo, slap it in there, let it run, and go, oh man, that's horrible. Look at that crypto locking. So bad. I'm so glad it's not my actual system. Anyway, moving on.
You sounded like a disappointed parent there at the end. Go play with Cuckoo,
Yeah.
play with Joe.
That's right.
Be nice to your cousins.
That's right.
I know they're a little weird.
You can't come inside until lunch.
Don't touch that malware.
Yeah.
And like you said, you have the option, I'm sure, to build your own sandbox. Have you built your own sandbox before?
I've not done Cuckoo. I always use something like Joe because
Okay.
I don't do enough malware analysis
Gotcha.
to like
Okay.
justify. It could be a fun weekend project though.
Okay, good to know. So if you're looking for something to do this weekend, do that. So thank you for walking us through some options we have for sandboxing tools, and thank you for joining us for this episode. We'll see you next time.